and welcome to our podcast, Lift Me Up. I'm Valerie.
And my name is Borut.
We are still on the road. At the moment, we are in Canada, in
Montreal.
Montreal. So you can see the city behind us.
Very beautiful city.
It's been our second week in Canada.
Long week.
Long week. So what was happening in the last week? Actually, Borut was really busy. And what were you doing, Borut?
Yeah, I had a workshop, not one, not two, but three workshops, three programs, three groups of people.
What were you doing? What kind of workshops?
So I started with a wet plate collodion, positive and negative, and then I continue with carbon printing, one of the slowest processes ever, 2 days. And the third day was argon printing.
Okay, before you explain about this thing, what kind of photography is that? Like for the people who don't know you.
So I'm an expert in 19th century handmade photographical processes. So that means everything that was practiced between 1850 to 1890. So I use, to make my photographs, I use gelatin, egg whites, salt, silver, gold, and so on.
And that was before the film was invented, right?
Yeah, that was about almost half a century before the film. Well, actually, even like 70 years before the film was, something like that, was invented.
But now at the moment you're teaching these workshops and you have workshops in Slovenia as well. Do you think like people there's a demand for it? How do you feel like when people approach you with
Yeah. First of all, I think the demand is growing. Why? Because in the midst of artificial intelligence, in the avalanche of information, in the avalanche of offers, what we can do, we have so much choice like never have been before. People more and more appreciate when they do something with their hands. To I must tell you that I'm a photographer all my life. I'm professional photographer all my adult life, and I built myself a house with commercial photography. But that really, I lost the love for photography, for something that I devoted my life for. And that's why I started to do wet plate collodion process, analog photography. Why? Because you start with something with nothing, you start with a clean plate, you start with some chemistry, and then you mix, and you work, and then something, voila, it appears in front of your eyes. And even if I'm doing this for all my life, I'm amazed every single time when actually things are working and something really aligns with my idea of beauty.
Mm. I think the materialist world or physical world is kind of important in the days of like digital, virtual AI. So probably the students you had here in Montreal, they also have some experience with that, or what was happening there?
Some of them were experienced, were also photographers who did all their life photography. Some of them you saw practice wet plate for the first time, but more about and some of them they travel like 6 hours to this workshop.
Wow.
Because even if Quebec is like just one county, or what is it?
County, I think.
County in Canada, it's still huge county. It's like half of the Europe.
A province, I think they call it province.
Okay, so
Let us know what it is.
yeah. Sorry, Canadians. Sorry, Brian.
It's big country.
So anyway,
Students?
yeah, before I arrived here and I started to prepare like a day before. Of course, we were online and did it. And I must say I was shocked when things were not working on the just one day before the workshop. The chemistry that I was given was not working. So I had to use all my knowledge, all my time, and all my luck to actually make the things running again. So I had to, for instance, what I've learned is that the materials that I get in Europe, or Also in Europe, there are different providers. So what I've learned is that not all the collodions are the same. They're very, very different. And like now, I receive much thinner collodion than was usually 4%.
Quick question. What is collodion?
What is collodion? Collodion is basically a binder between glass and silver. So it's a nitrocellulose, but basically it's a binder.
Okay.
So anyway, so the point is, I was like really, really hard working on Sunday to make things running again. I had to rewrite all the rest, not all, but the main recipes I had to rewrite. I had to mix new chemistry. And then I was relieved when we made the first plate on Monday and was working. And I was like, oh, yeah.
Isn't it stressful when you're like away from home and then you think usually you have everything on the reach on your hands, but when you're abroad, it's like you're stuck with what you have in your suitcase.
Well, I must say that the organizer of this workshop was Francis. Can you pronounce his surname?
No, very long,
Shing. Something
very long
Irish.
surname,
Irish.
but he's really amazing person. Yeah.
Yeah, and he is really like a wizard of organization. So I really put all my trust that he will provide everything, and rightly so, everything was there. So I just had to figure out how to make it work. So the seller was claiming that there's 4%, but I might anyway. So the point I'm trying to say, I learned something too. So I'm working on the wet plate collodion manual, and one of the things that I will do for my patrons is I'm going to test collodions of different suppliers. And I'm going to test everything from the viscosity to longevity, shelf life, and so on. How does it work if the only characteristics that changes is collodion, different collodions? Anyway, it's a geeky thing, you know. Not many things, not many, not many listeners will appreciate if I will go deeper than that.
Oh, but it's important that people know that, like, when you do workshops and when you go abroad, you always use some materials and it's difficult to transport them.
Yeah.
And that's another stressful thing which can happen
Yeah.
on the road because you cannot carry your stuff with you.
You know, it was so intense because on Sunday I was preparing only for my first workshop, which was on Monday. And on Monday evening I was preparing for my second day. After the workshop, in the evening I was preparing for my second and third day.
Yeah.
And on the third day I was preparing for my fourth day. I planned that I will do everything on Sunday because I had the full day free. But actually it was just I was just working. But you know, but there is something I have to say, you know, like in these times, it's very crucial that you remind yourself. It was crucial for me that I remind myself where I am and what I'm doing. So I am on the opposite side of the world,
Literally, yeah.
teaching people something that I love, and I'm not teaching some bored, you know, high school teenagers. I'm teaching people
People who
have
appreciate
the
it,
same
yeah.
passion as I have. So I'm traveling across the world with the jet lag and stress and everything, but still we are here and we are sharing this space for 4 days. And I felt like, wow, what a dream come true. And this thought actually lift me up,
Ah, that's nice.
lift me up, and I could go on and just keep on going. And I said to all my participants, you know, take a break when you want. I will not take a break. I'm used to stand whole day on my feet and working from morning till evening, and that's how I'm doing all my life. So, you know, but please take a chair, take a break,
Take a break.
and so on. I am not going to I'm not going to ask you to do that.
Yeah, what I learned also in the last years when I was doing exhibitions and stuff, the first thing is the stressful levels of traveling, which like throws you out of the same time zone, jet lag and all that stuff. It's of course big stressful level, but what you said now is very important. I think that you know why you go there, why you travel, you can get more experience from that. And maybe, at least for me, my personal experience is that whenever I went to different countries to do exhibitions, the most important part was organization. And what you mentioned, Francis, right? He was really great with organization. But also, when I think back on my travels, the most like successful shows and successful travels were where organizers did their best, and always there was something wrong. So my job there was that to keep calm, to keep focus,
Yeah.
and also to adapt. I think it's really important to adapt. If something goes wrong, you cannot just say, okay, it doesn't work, let's go. But then you just continue, you push yourself, to just find a solution.
Yeah.
And that's something that people don't really think of often or don't appreciate, I would say. Or they are afraid, maybe.
Yeah, like for me is I am when people pay and travel 6 hours to come to my workshop and paying not only my workshop but also the hotel that they're staying, and so I feel very responsible for their time and their trust, and I really take it very, very seriously to prepare as much as I can. And I've done hundreds of workshops, more than 100 for sure. And I've learned with each of them. But I must say that we made such amazing work. Like I will show them. We made such amazing prints, and even with dry plates, we were making albumin prints, and
Albumin print is, you can
albumin.
maybe tell what that
Yeah,
is. It's interesting.
albumin print is a print that I'm using egg whites. That we are using egg whites, silver, and also gold to actually make the print, and people were really amazed. That's because some of them actually tried before, and their success their results were not very were not even close to what we got, and therefore it was very eye opener for them. Like,
But it's important also. Ooh, loud noises from Montreal. It's important, I think, also that you have this knowledge. It's like for the last decade, at least, you were gaining so much experience, knowledge. And I would say it's the most important like thing is to give knowledge back, to return it, to mentor. How do
actually,
you feel like a mentor,
yeah,
It's important.
actually, last year, I think it was last year, something happened. I have to. Here we have a Swiss Army knife.
For the listeners, Borut is now showing the Swiss Army knife
Yeah, is
with engraving.
yeah. Well, this in the workshop.
What
I,
does it say on engraving?
well,
Maybe you can read it
at the
out loud.
workshop, I had to screw the camera on the tripod stronger, and I pull my Swiss Army knife out, and I screw the camera, fasten the camera, tighten the camera, and then Zu was a participant of our workshops. She is an experienced electrician. She's doing electricity and plus a glass blower. So and she was so basically she is a very handy woman. And she said, "Oh, you have
Swiss Army knife.
Swiss Army knife, so cool, to have it in your pocket." And I said, "Yes, but this is not ordinary Swiss Army knife. This Swiss Army knife, well, a step back. There was like 1 year ago or so, I had a participant
In the workshop.
in the workshop in Straša in Slovenia, when and he had this kind of Swiss Army knife, and I borrowed from him a couple of times. And I told him this is the best model. I had the bigger ones, I had smaller ones, but this one is far
The classic
the
Swiss
best one.
Army knife.
Yeah. So and then after he was like 70, around 70 years old, and he could like he was like slow to follow everything. It was like a lot of information, but I'm a patient guy. So, yeah, I've learned that, I said to the participants at the beginning, it will be a lot of information. You cannot remember everything. I will have to repeat at least one times, but if you don't remember still, just ask. So I know that it takes time, and it's so I was working with him. At the end of the workshop, he said, "Thank you, Borut, for being so patient with me. I know that I was slow, and and I couldn't follow really fast as everybody else. But thank you for being patient and working with me. He said he felt really great, and he said, but I didn't told you everything, you know. For last 3 years, he is fighting with cancer, and his brain was fried. That's what he wrote, and he couldn't follow very. And he said he was very grateful for my patience. And after the workshop, he sent me this Swiss Army knife. And on the Swiss Army knife, what does it say?
The engraving says, "To the wet plate master for Borut by David."
Yeah.
Wow,
So,
it's really beautiful.
so David, thank you so much. This actually was a milestone also in my mentality and my career. I said, oh my God, like, I'm doing this as a passion, but I started as a passion, you know, and I'm teaching this, but you know, it can actually be a very, very important gift, or some people see it differently, you know. And as I said, to receive this thank you gift from David, you know, who went through tough times, you know, it means a lot to me.
Yeah, when I look back, also, I think that throughout my journey, you know, in arts and all that, there were some people on my journey who were my mentors in a way, like a teacher. I have one teacher in mind, later on, like mentor for diploma and all that stuff. I think all those people are like people who try to really push you and lift you up. So I think being a mentor is a great way of saying you're like not just, you know, passing your knowledge to generations coming behind you, but in a way also taking your heritage forward, like what you did, all the steps you did, they will never be forgotten because next people will continue. I think it's like being human.
Talking about teaching, you're also a professor.
Yes,
That's true. I never, you know, that's the thing. Like, I was asked many times to be go seriously into academic waters, and I never wanted to be, because I said if I'm going to be a full-time teacher or professor, I will not be a photographer. I want to be a photographer. I want to live I want to live as a photographer. I don't want to be a teacher. And that's how it was for first 50 years. But now, now I'm in the second half. And the second half, I feel that, you know, I can give a lot to people, and I'm teaching more and more. But my question for you is, how are you as a professor?
actually, I don't know exactly when it started, probably because in my high school years, I was constantly helping others, you know, with some projects and stuff like that. And slowly I started to do like little workshops, like how to use your home camera to do a short video. That's something I wanted to share with people because I was so, in a way, stressed, or how to say, pressured with this thought. Everybody was saying that making movies and films, it's such a complicated process. And I just wanted to tell them it's not complicated. The only thing you need is a good idea, but you can do a movie also with a mobile phone. And that was my like mantra throughout the high school. And I was just sharing this passion for filmmaking and everything, for arts, with others. And then slowly, you know, I got into more workshop, I was doing more mentoring, and I just really wanted to also talk about more complicated things like AI and robotics and stuff like that. But I wanted to speak with people with really simple words so people can understand. I mean, sometimes I know it's complicated, but I think if you find a way how to build a bridge between science and just like everyday normal conversation, and that people start to sense that maybe arts and science, that's a fun thing to do. It doesn't have to be extremely complicated. I mean, you can make it extremely complicated, but I think to keep it simple, that's the most important part.
Could you tell our listeners about your teaching career in Los Angeles?
Yeah. So with these workshops, of course, I was doing a lot of independent work, exhibitions and stuff. But then I decided, well, I want to learn more myself as well. So I started to, I enrolled myself into a PhD, which is almost finished. I mean, it's on the paper already, but I need to go through the last steps of the procedure. And I got selected to a Fulbright scholarship. And that was something I really wanted ever since high school. I was just trying to really prepare for the exams. It took me 2 years to get in the Fulbright scholarship.
Yeah.
And it gave me the opportunity to be sent in US. So I was sent to California, to Chapman University. The first idea was that I will just study there for a PhD. But when I went there, I got some nice professors. So I would like to thank Charles Fink. He took me into his class, and then he gave me also opportunity to become teaching assistant. So I started to lecture also on this XR, VR, virtual reality, and all that stuff. And that was eye-opening to me as well, because in US, at least, the system is extremely different than to European systems, or at least Slovenian system. In Slovenia, education is free usually. So schools are free. Everybody expects to just get knowledge. Like it's a free thing. But in US, it's extremely expensive. The families take like mortgage, they sell houses, they spend every dollar just to, give something to their children for education. And in each class, I thought, like, oh my God, every time I teach, it's like $200 each class for every student. So, it was a lot of pressure on me. But, I said, well, finally, I have students who are really, really engaged, because I see pluses and minuses with that. Also in Slovenia, sometimes I feel it's a problem because it's not respected. Being a professor sometimes is just like students don't take it really, everything is for granted. And sometimes I would feel maybe a little bit of scholarship would be good, just so people would appreciate it. Because also in the workshops, I had some free workshops. People apply for free workshop and they don't even appear at the end sometimes. But if you pay for a workshop, you at least come and do.
Tell us what you do with students that are late.
Well, usually I just lock the classroom, or I just send them out. I think the most important part is to appreciate the time. If somebody is just like being late or like skipping classes, it's like, sorry, then I also don't have time for you. Because when you're a mentor, when you're a professor, you're giving time to all these people. It's not just knowledge. You are giving them your life. So I would say that if you're a student, at least, appreciate that somebody is spending their life for you. I take it very seriously.
Good. Good. When I was having a workshop in Berlin, or everywhere else actually, because I was not a professor, I was kind of just giving a seminar. I said, wet plate collodion process is slow process. There are a lot of people, like 18 people in this for this workshop, and I said, it's very difficult that everybody will do everything. So if you're here just to get a grade, congratulations, you got an A grade, like you get a perfect score. Everybody gets a perfect score. So for you who just came to get a grade, you got it. You're signed, you're fine. You don't have to come anymore. And for those who are interested in that, they can come and work, and they will have double amount of time. So it's a win-win for
That
everybody.
is a good way.
Though the truth is, I believe that the schools, especially colleges, should be without grades. When you finish your college, just show me what you can know, what you can.
Yeah,
I just want to say this. When I finished my college, and I've done it in Prague, BA, and then I went to London and Italy and so on, and United States and so on, I said, like, if I have to show my certificate, if I have to show my diploma to somebody and convince him that I'm qualified, then I lost it already. If that's not seen in my work, then I have to go to on my knees to my parents and ask them for forgiveness because I screw up their money. But so I must proudly say that in my whole my life, I think I was once or twice I had to show my diploma because I was working in a university, so I had to they had to tick all the boxes. But all the rest, all employers, they never ask me to show them the paper.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, it probably depends on the different kind of profession, I guess. But still, I would say it will completely change in the future. Now, when AI is here and everybody's just basically copying ChatGPT, all the written exams are kind of obsolete. I think the system will drastically change. I am not sure how, because nobody knows those answers, because it's amazing tool, of course, but if everybody is just pressing, hey, ChatGPT, write me this thesis, and they're just copy pasting and they're watching, I don't know, YouTube videos and don't pay attention to what they're doing. In the future, I think the diplomas and all that will be obsolete. I think nobody will check that. But of course, later on, you can just show them experience and all that. But how to get the first experience, that would be a big issue. So I would say, at least my point of view is that even though you are still a student or a very young person, the first step towards good career is to be proactive. That you ask people, you network, you show them what you know, you talk, you speak, you watch, you listen, you read, you just try to get as much information as possible and get into the circle somehow. Every profession has their circles. So that's why I think it's important that here in Montreal we also had some nice meetings, and also I would say we will still be here for a week in Canada. We need to meet as many people possible.
Yeah. And the thing is exactly what you mentioned in the last workshop podcast is about the passion.
Yeah.
That you have the passion, that you know what you're doing. You're not doing it because of the grades. You mentioned your colleague.
Payments.
He was just doing the, ticking all the boxes of the, exams and everything. But on the end of the day, she didn't stay in the profession. And so I believe that, for instance, I also, if you don't find, like, okay, we are talking about arts, okay? But even if you're an engineer, I mean, like,
Anything.
go
Yeah.
and fix your
Exactly.
car.
Yeah.
Go and, build something, make a model plane. Or if you're architect,
I have a question. This is something people often ask me, and it's how to find your passion if you don't feel passionate about anything. Do you have an answer to that? Because I will tell what I think.
well, I know you just suffer more. Well, that's the truth, that's the
Yeah.
truth. We have to suffer, so we move. The suffering is like key element of our life. If unfortunately the life is not endless,
Yeah.
so you have this amount of time when you're a teenager, this amount of time before you get to adults, and then you're in your 50s.
Yeah, I think like I totally agree. I always say that you just have to try different things, but if people are not even motivated to step out of the bed, if they're binge watching series and just feeling sorry for themselves, that's first step is to find help, because that means you're depressed, and depression can be really bad. It's not like you can beat it yourself if it's really strong. You need psychologist or you need somebody. That's extreme case, of course. But if you manage to at least stand off the couch, stand off bed, walk out, you have to go to maybe there's many courses, also free courses around. There's many cultural centers. For example, a Rock Center in Slovenia, it offers some handcrafted courses you can do, from like woodworking to electricity to accounting, anything. Just try, and if you fail, just pass it on.
This is like maybe too big goal for people who are. I mean, I know I was in a very, very deep. I was never. 2019 was probably my worst year of my life, if I excluded the year when I burned myself with gasoline and almost died. so but in adult years, I that was definitely my worst year. And I remember that I just had to pull myself up and just start doing wet plate. And I've done
You found this passion.
yeah. But you know what, Jordan Peterson says clean your room. It talks about, if you cannot do, I don't know, pay your mortgage or whatever, you just clean your room. Start
Yeah,
by
yeah,
doing
that's
that.
first step.
But Start by doing that. Clean your room,
Yes.
and when you
Set a bed.
when you're gonna make something beautiful, that's something beautiful. If you make something beautiful, even if it's just your room or just your corner where you live, even that beauty will be a seed for more beauty for
Yeah.
another room.
And you achieved something. I think those achievements are amazing. Also, if you look these health communes, like people who go to detox from drugs, they put them in communes. And first thing is they teach them how to clean like
Yeah.
the room, to make the bed. This is the first step. And once they achieve that, they go to the next step. And the monks in monastery, they do the same. In military, we do the same. I think you can find this pattern everywhere. It's a thing, a basic human thing that like divides you from being just like crazy, wild, feral, I don't know what creature in the forest. I think it's very important.
Like for me, what it worked really well is like to cut, to physically break the line of my self-pity
Yeah.
story. And so I was running a lot. I was every time that I felt again when I saw, oh fuck, I'm thinking about the same thoughts again, I throw myself on the ground and start doing push-ups. And then you cannot feel sorry for yourself because you and then like for another couple of minutes you are free of those thoughts, or at least they're in the background. So
It's similar than one thing that Mel Robbins is teaching, 5 second rule. It's like, for example, she talks about this rule in many different ways, but one of them is if you start to feel like you're in a circle and your thoughts are constantly the same, count from 5 to 0. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And before you say 1, you just move from this position. For example, I'm sitting, I'm looking in the distance, feeling sorry for myself. And then I say, okay, 5 second rule. And you just stand up and move. And once you move, the hormones start working, you get some oxygen, you literally feel better. So this is one thing. And the other thing is that if you're like, for the last couple of days, you're stressed about an email you don't want to answer, it's like, okay, just count from 5 to 1, just open, just answer. Don't even think about anything else. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, just and you have to do it. So one thought who's constantly repeating, you just do it. Don't think about it. So that's a good way.
I would also say something about the antidote for stress, where we are all stressed. It's actually stress is kind of like a zeitgeist of our society. Let's say I photographed a lot in the corporate environment, and I have seen the corporate culture from close. And I must say that in a corporate environment, if you're not burnout and stress out, that means you're not working. It's kind of like I don't know, like a unwritten rule. You have to be on the edge of burnout.
Yeah. It's
You
not
have to
just
be-
corporate. I would say it's everywhere.
Yeah.
When I
It's a
speak with
zeitgeist.
when I speak
But-
with people, how are you doing? It's like, oh, I'm so tired.
busy. I'm so
Yeah.
Oh,
It is
I
true.
got time. Wow, so busy and everything. Like everything is like, oh, this guy said this guy said that. Oh, come on, like no, stop.
Yeah.
So one of the rules that I have is that I've heard somewhere, and it's actually if you are not changing, you're choosing.
If you're not changing it, you're choosing it. I love
That's right.
that.
If you're not changing it, you're choosing it. So basically, if you don't like something and you're not changing and you do nothing to change it, well,
Then you're
choosing
choosing it.
And
Yeah,
if you're choosing it, then stop complaining.
that's
If
true.
you're changing, stop complaining.
Yeah, but for some people, it's a hobby to complain.
Oh, it's
just-
more than a hobby. It's more than a
Right.
hobby. It's like a base of their ego.
Yeah, but like when I return back to us
So
being
I
on
have
the
to say
road.
something. No, I have to say something is complaining, when you complain, you are alive. Like you are alive.
Of course,
Oh,
it's a hobby.
this guys or this party or this went wrong and he said that I shouldn't say that.
It's a lifestyle.
Yeah, you really get a boost up of energy of
Yeah.
you're getting into the fight mode, and that's when people who miss that, they become more alive.
That's true. Well, if I return back to us being on the road, we're also moving a lot, especially in these 3 weeks we are here in Canada. I think we are pushing ourselves, of course, to the limit, also with physical move, with the different time zone, with having really packed schedule and all the meetings. I have so many meetings in these 3 weeks that I cannot even remember the names, the people, the organizations. But it's great. All this information, it's like now I'm bringing it back to Slovenia. I'm connecting Canada and Slovenia. I cannot say more about what I'm doing, especially here, because it's job related. But I wanted to maybe finish this podcast because it's such a beautiful view behind us. I'm sorry for those of you who are not listening, who are not watching, who are listening, that you cannot see. We are above many, many stories. And in the next week, we are going to Ottawa and then to Toronto. We have a few more things on our plate before we fly back to Europe.
Last things is like just to repeat what I said in the context of having workshop and being stressed out, to remember where you are, where you came from, and just to feel some gratitude.
Exactly.
Even if 10,000 things are going sideways, at least there is something that is good, and you just find this and build your present moment around that. Thankfulness is the antidote for stress. When we are thankful, we even for being alive, even for breathing, if you can do, if you know something, just to take a breath and then actually things get smoother.
Yes.
We come down into the who we are, and we see things clearly, and more we are more productive, more efficient, and more alive. And we are lifting not only ourselves up, but also
Each other.
each other up. So for now, we are here on the 50th floor, and I'm not going to do some lifting up.
It's dangerous. Stay
dangerous.
tuned. Next podcast will be probably from Toronto.
Toronto, here we go, here we come. But you know what?